When we talk about orange wine today, we're really talking about a rediscovery of the world's oldest winemaking tradition. 8,000 years ago, in what we now call Georgia, people were making wine in giant clay vessels called Qvevri, and they were doing it in exactly the same way their descendants do today. Think about that for a moment. 8,000 years of unbroken tradition. Before the pyramids, before writing, before the wheel, there were Georgian farmers making orange wine. But let me back up and explain what makes this wine so special. Imagine you've just finished harvesting white grapes. Traditionally, varieties like Akatsiteli or Kisi. Instead of quickly pressing them and separating the juice like we do for most white wines today, you crush everything together. The skins, the seeds, even the stems, and put it all into these massive clay vessels. These Qvevri are fascinating. Picture enormous clay eggs, taller than a person, buried in the ground up to their necks. The ground keeps them naturally cool, and their shape creates perfect circulation for the fermenting wine. No temperature control needed, no electricity, no modern technology at all. Here's where the magic happens. The crushed grapes start fermenting naturally with wild yeasts that live on the grape skins. Everything stays together for weeks, sometimes months. The juice transforms, taking on a beautiful amber color from the grape skins. It develops tannins, just like a red wine. The flavors become incredibly complex. Dried fruits, nuts, honey, tea leaves, earth. The wine gains texture and body that you never find in modern white wines. What's remarkable is that this isn't some complicated process invented by wine experts. It's exactly the opposite. It's how wine was first made, before humans knew how to do anything else with grapes. No added yeasts, no filtration, no fancy equipment. Just grapes, clay vessels, and time. When people started talking about orange wine in the early 2000s, like it was some new trend, Georgians must have been amused. For them, this wasn't a trend or a natural wine movement. It was simply wine, made the same way their ancestors had always made it. In fact, they don't even call it orange wine. They just call it wine made in Qvevri. Because for 8,000 years, this was just wine. The rest of the wine world is finally catching up, realizing that sometimes the oldest way is the best way. In 2013, UNESCO recognized Georgian Qvevri winemaking as part of humanity's cultural heritage. It's not just a way of making wine, it's a living connection to the very origins of winemaking itself. So the next time you hear someone talk about orange wine like it's a new discovery, remember those ancient Georgian farmers. Remember the Qvevri buried in the earth, still working their magic the same way they did 8,000 years ago. This isn't just wine. It's history in a glass, and it's very much alive.